Okay, let's look at an application. So we have a small windmill, has its center 6 meters above the ground. So I'm going to highlight 6 meters above the ground. And blades are 2 meters in length. In a steady wind, a point at the tip of one blade makes a complete rotation in 12 seconds. So I'm going to highlight that. So the complete rotation in 12 seconds is my period. That's the length of my blade. This is my K value, which is my midline. So if I do this, I'm going to look at graphing this. So I'm going to put in my height, and across here I'm going to put in my time. So my rotation is every 12 seconds. So I'm going to make it nice and easy. So this is my time in seconds. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12. And I'm going to keep going up like that. And I end up at 36. Now I'm going to go up for my height. So my midline's at 6 meters. My blades are 2 meters in length. So that's going to help me find my maximum and my minimum. So the maximum will be 2 meters above that, and the minimum will be 2 meters below that. So I'm going to go up probably by ones. And this will be my height. My midline is at 6. I already know that. I'm going to draw that in. It helps me graph a little bit easier. Okay, so I've got that in as well. So it says, what is my maximum value? Well, my maximum is 6 plus 2, or 8 meters. Now it wants the minimum. So the minimum is 6 minus 2, or 4 meters. The amplitude is the max minus the min divided by 2. So I already should get that right because it's the length of the blade. The period of the function was already given to me. It's 12 seconds. So I can use that 12 seconds also to find my b value in my equation. So I know that the period is 12. I'm going to have a sine or a cosine graph. I'll have to figure it out, but it's not going to change the fact the period is equal to 360 divided by b. So I can rearrange and isolate for b. And it tells me that my b value in my equation will be 30. I can now go and graph it. So it wants me to start at the highest point. That means I'm going to start at 8 meters and put a point there. 12 seconds later, I should be back at 8 meters. So I look, halfway between 0 and 12 is 6. I should be at my lowest point then at that one. Halfway between 0 and 6 will be 1, 2, 3. I should be on my midline. Halfway between 6 and 12, 1, 2, 3, which is at 9, I will also be on my midline. So there is one cycle of the rotation. So now I can pattern that out. At 24, I'll also be at a maximum, and at 36, I'll also be at a maximum. At 18, I should be at a minimum, and at 30, I should also be at a minimum. Halfway here, I'll be at a midline. Halfway here, I'll be at another midline. Again, between 24 and 30, halfway I should be at the midline. Between 30 and 36, halfway I should be at the midline. So now I'm able to pattern out the rotation of the blades. It wants an equation for the graph. So I might as well do a cosine graph with no phase shift. Nice and easy. It already starts at its maximum. I'm not going to make more work for myself, so I'm going to say for the phase shift there is none. So I can say that y is equal to, my amplitude was 2 meters, so 2. I've chosen a cos graph. You could pick a sine graph and have a phase shift. That's up to you. My b value is 30. There is no phase shift. And I already know that my midline, it was given to me in the question, is plus 6. Now it wants me to find the height at 5 seconds. So what I want to do is I'm going to put 5 seconds in for x. So I really need to make sure my calculator is in degrees. So I'm going to replace x with 5. So that says I want to do cos of 150 and add 6. So I'm going to say 2 cos bracket 150 close bracket, and then I'm going to add 6. So I'm going to round it to 2 decimal places, so I get approximately 4.27 meters. So therefore the height is 4.27 meters. And I can check that against my graph. So at 5 seconds, I'm here, there's 4, there's 5, I'm slightly above 4. My answer makes sense. I want to know at 40 seconds how high we are. So I'm going to do the same thing. Y is equal to 2 cos. I have 30 times 40, and I'm going to add 6. So I'm going to simplify. So I have cos of 1200, and I'm going to add 6. I'm going to grab my calculator, 2 cos bracket 1200 close bracket, and then I'm going to add 6. And I get exactly 5 meters.